We're group one, and I'm Brittany.
I'm Isabel.
I'm Cooper, and we're going to go over animals in the workplace. So we chose this topic about animals in the workplace, whether that's service animals or support animals, and we want to go over about what we have found as far as like the laws that are in place to protect employees and employers, and also go over some pros and cons as far as having animals in the workplace. So looking at service versus support animals, Title 1, 2, and 3 of the ADA that go over disabilities at work, they specify that service animals need to be specially trained dogs or miniature horses, and they all have to be qualified for the specific tasks that they need to do for specific disabilities, while support animals are a real gray area. They can be a wide variety of animals. Like cats, dogs, ferrets, mini pigs. There's all sorts of animals that they can be. There's a lot wider range of disabilities that they can aid in. But as I said before, there's a real gray area in the ADA guidelines, but they are treated similarly to service animals as far as accommodations go.
So a little background story why we chose this topic. So as you know, we decided to research service animals, emotional animals, and support animals in the workplace. So due to people having more pets at work today and there not being enough laws and regulations around it, we decided to research it, and we found studies for having animals in the workplace to help with focus and stress relief. We also found that there's different laws and regulations for different workplaces, and that it's always hard for the workplace and the manager to decide what laws and regulations to put around their service animals and emotional animals, because it's hard to look at a person to decide if it really has a disability or not, and that's why it's so hard to pass the laws and regulations.
All right, what laws regulates the use of service animals, and what about emotional support animals? So when looking into the type of laws that cover service animals and or emotional support animals, we found that under the American with Disabilities Act, or known as the ADA, has three parts. So Title 1 prohibits disability in employment, Title 2 prohibits disability discrimination in the provision of government services, programs, and activities, and Title 3 prohibits disability discrimination in places of public accommodation. So now service animals are covered under the ADA's Title 3, and under the Title 3 of ADA, it defines the term of a service animal as any dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability, and that could include physical, sensory, psychiatric, intellectual, and other mental disabilities that they may have. Now, regarding emotional support animals, it's a little harder to define because these emotional support animals are not covered by Title 1 or 2 of the ADA, but they are also not considered service animals. So it's a little trickier just because since the times are changing, a lot more people are not going through that route of training their pets to be service animals, but more of a coping mechanism to either calm themselves, keep themselves at peace, or just having them by their side as they work. Also, these emotional support animals help relieve a symptom or effect that the individual has on their disability. So for the emotional support animal, it only covers one part of the disability rather than the service animal, which has to be at that individual side at all times and actually covers the whole disability and copes with the whole disability of that individual.
So with this comes benefits and downsides to service and emotional support animals in the workplace. And some of the pros are that it helps release stress. It also helps with the communication in the workplace. Due to having animals in the workplace, people communicate with the animal and with each other due to a happy and positive environment. And these dogs or animals are also highly trained to help people if they need it.
Now for the cons, the first con could be that people who are allergic or have a phobia of these animals, they will have to endure it just because since that individual does need an emotional or a service animal, they do need that animal at their side. So that's a disadvantage for those types of people. Another con could be higher stress levels from the other employees, and that could be related to the first statement that people that are allergic to these animals or that have a phobia of these animals, they'll have higher stress and anxiety while working at the workplace. There could also be distraction in the workplace just because of these animals that are with their people. So some employees could be distracted because they want to pet them, they think about them, or they're just in the vicinity themselves. And lastly, it could be very costly for the owner just because they have to go through the application process. It's very costly to train or to get a service dog. It could also impact the business as well, just because they have to accommodate for that person with a service or emotional support animal. That could be having a different route for the people that are allergic or that have phobia, or even moving that individual that does have a service animal to move to a completely different place. In the end, the times are changing and people are more aware of people having service dogs in the workplace. Also, knowing your rights and laws when having an emotional support animal or service animal is also necessary for everyone to be on the same page. So thank you for staying and watching our presentation.